Look, I hear it all the time. Casey, I want to buy an EV, but I've heard these rumors about 1,000 miles of range and charging in 5 minutes and the $20,000 sports car that's going to change my life. Should I wait? I've got an answer for you. No. Well, maybe. Okay, the real answer is it depends on what you want. In the next year, we'll have better charging options, new performance cars, 3-row family vehicles, plus more affordable EVs under 40 grand. But a few years out, we know about some tough off-roaders, more EVs from brands you know and like, plus significant updates from Rivian and Tesla. Let's take a look at the best of what's new and what's coming so you can decide whether it's worth waiting to take the EV plunge. But before we do that, head over to Edmunds.com to find reviews, news, and fair prices on cars near you. We'll also make you a cash offer on your old car. And make sure to like and subscribe for tests and comparisons of all the newest cars as soon as they drop. Okay, so there's a lot coming in 2025, but the big one is NACS. NACS is the North American Charging Standard, better known as the Tesla Plug. If you haven't owned an EV, you might know this, but pretty much all electric cars have one type of port and Tesla has another. Most non-Teslas can't charge at Tesla's supercharging stations, and the ones that can need an adapter. That's a real shame considering our experience has told us they're by far the most reliable and widely available right now. That changes this year. Pretty much all the major EV makers have announced they'll be equipping their cars with NACS ports this year. That's huge for folks who have been burned by the often broken and spottily available non-Tesla charging networks in the past. Think of it as the USB-C of the EV world. Speaking of Tesla, we recently got our first look at the all-new Model Y. 2024 brought us a significantly updated Model 3 with better build quality, a quieter interior, higher quality materials, and new features. We even named it Edmunds' top-rated electric car for 2025. And it's finally time all those improvements come to Tesla's bestseller, the Model Y. Plus, it'll get some slick new light bars. And I love light bars. And it'll have a real turn signal stock. No more having to use your friggin' little steering wheel buttons to make a turn, because no one likes to do that. I don't like to do that. Tesla's already taking orders for the $60,000 launch edition, but more affordable versions are on the way. This will be one of the biggest releases of the year. You've also got more good, cheap options on the way. We know Volvo's pint-sized EX30 will reach dealerships in 2025, and based on our own Alistair Weaver's experience, it should be a stylish, likable little crossover that will suit a lot of people well. Plus, the single-motor variant set to arrive later in the year will be priced well below $40,000. Just be aware that it's small, like really, really small. For a lot more space, there's a great family option coming in 2025 too. Hyundai's Ioniq 9 will reach dealers in the first half of the year. Think of this as Hyundai's version of the EV9 we have in our year-long test fleet. The car that we just named Edmunds' top-rated electric SUV for 2024 and 2025. The Ioniq 9 gets cool new styling. It'll have as much as 335 miles of range, and it should charge crazy fast. If you need an electric 3-row and the EV9 and Volkswagen ID Buzz aren't your style, this could be the one worth waiting for. 2025 will also be the year Chevy reintroduces the Bolt. The first generation of Chevy's electric hatchback impressed us with its long range and low price when it debuted back in 2017. We actually owned one for nearly 4 years as part of our fleet of long-term test vehicles. The Bolt was discontinued in 23, the same year we named it our top-rated electric car. But last year, Chevy confirmed a new Bolt would arrive in the second half of 2025. Based on the same electric platform that underpins the likable 356-mile Equinox EV, it has potential to be the most affordable 300-mile EV on sale. Love to see it. Where are the trucks? America loves trucks. Ram's entering the EV game big in 2025 with something a little different. It's called the Ramcharger, a dual-motor electric truck with a gas-powered V6 under the hood. The engine never drives the wheels, just produces electricity to drive the front and rear motors. Ram says total range could reach as high as 690 miles. No one's making a truck like this. It could be a game changer for electric towing, especially considering this thing's reported tow rating is 14,000 pounds. Jeep has a treat for us next year too. 2025 should mark the debut of the Recon, Jeep's second EV after the Wagoneer S, and its first all-electric off-roader. It'll have the same removable door setup as the Wrangler, with short overhangs, chunky all-terrains, and exposed recovery points that can make it a beast on the trail. There have been a few trail-ready EVs, but none with the door-free motoring folks love in the Wrangler and Bronco. Keep an eye out for a comparison against the updated Rivian R1S when we get our hands on this one. We'll see two very different electric performance cars next year. The first being the reborn Dodge Charger Daytona. That's right, your Charger is now an EV. Are you upset? We're sure you've heard about this one, the two-door or four-door 5,700-pound hatchback that's replacing the old Charger and the old Challenger. We've finally driven the thing though, and it drives way better than either of those cars. The 670 horsepower Scat Pack rips, and there are drift and donut modes for you crazy people out there who do those things safely. Now yeah, it makes EV sounds, doesn't beat the V8, but it's promising. On the other side of the spectrum, it's likely we'll finally get a look at Porsche's electric replacement for the Boxster and Cayman. This is a big deal. Porsche's already got the monstrously fast Taycan EV, and there are some great track-focused EVs like the Ioniq 5N. But the Boxster and Cayman have always been small, lightweight two-seaters with a big focus on nimble handling. If Porsche can capture that spirit with an EV, it'd be a game changer for electric sports cars. This could be the one you've been waiting for, or not, I don't know. So that's the noteworthy stuff coming up in the next 12 months. But can you get something even better if you wait longer? There are tons of EVs on the way, but some are barely even concepts. Even the ones we know more about could get hit with delays or even cancellations. Just ask anyone who put down a reservation on a new Tesla Roadster back in 2017. But based on what we know, there are some great cars and new tech in the pipeline. Our most anticipated affordable EV has to be the Kia EV3. Kia has plans to bring the excellent EV3 stateside in 2026. And based on our very own Brian Wong's first drive impressions from last year, we are in for a treat. It has a tiny footprint, but brilliant packaging means the interior is huge. Plus, we found this little guy to be super quiet and comfortable. Factor in a variant with over 350 miles of range and another with a price tag in the mid-30,000 range, and this could be a great option. Of course, some of you will want something more bigger. The Ram Rev, also coming in 2026, will offer the highest capacity battery fitted to a consumer EV so far, and Ram is targeting a crazy 500 miles of range. With that much range, you may even want to tow, and the Rev is supposed to be able to tow 14,000 pounds. The electric truck wars are only getting more contentious. There's another electric-only relative newcomer with new products on the way. Rivian showed off the R2, a mid-size family SUV, and the R3, a sport rally-inspired hatchback. Rivian has announced R2 pricing will start around $45,000, and the base R3 a little below that. Personally, I am stoked for these, especially the sporty R3X they've shown off. Expect the R2 in 2026 and the R3 shortly after. Rivian will also have some off-road electric competition soon. Remember the Scout, the rounded, rugged rig from the 60s and 70s built by a tractor company? Well, it's a coming back. This time as a super rad looking truck and SUV. These will be body-on-frame off-roaders with locking diffs, disconnecting anti-roll bars, huge tires, and as much as 1,000 pound-feet of torque. There will also be an option for a gas range extender, so you can easily get yourself lost. When we checked these trucks out, we found a lot of cool design details that the off-road crowd is going to love. We're told the all-new Scout will start delivering vehicles in 2027. If you're looking for something from a brand you already know and trust, both Honda and Toyota have new EV SUVs coming. Honda just showed off a concept for the Zero Series SUV, with the futuristic looks and an open cabin. We don't know much, but Honda says their new EV will be available in 2026. You can also expect a 3-row EV from Toyota in the coming years. Toyota's BZ5X. Oh yes, it'll be bigger than the BZ4X. This naming scheme is still bad. Was supposed to launch in 2025, but has been pushed back to at least 2026. It'll have a similar 3-row layout to the Highlander and share its looks with the BZ4X, but that's about all we know for now. If you're looking even further out, there could be a big change coming for all-electric cars: solid-state batteries. A full explainer would be a whole other video, but what you need to know is that solid-state batteries are supposed to charge faster and store more energy. More better. That means more range out of the same size battery, or similar range with a battery that's much smaller and lighter. It feels like solid state has been a few years away for the past decade, but Honda, Toyota, Mercedes, BMW, Nissan, and Stellantis have all announced plans for solid state vehicles by the end of the decade. Is it worth waiting 5 years or more? Well, there's already plenty of EVs with more than 300 miles of range and that charge pretty fast. Until we get our hands on a car with a solid state battery, we just won't know how they'll perform in the real world or what they'll cost. But I hope they're sick. The 2025 stuff is easy. You can wait a few months for an Ioniq 9 or an EX30. But if you're set on one of the options a little farther out, we got options for you in the meantime. On the more affordable end of things, we have to recommend the Chevy Equinox EV. The Equinox is a stylish, compact crossover that covered 356 miles on our EV range test and can be had for just 35 grand. There's also the Tesla Model 3. You can say all you want about the shoddy build quality, stiff ride, and noisy, cheap interior of the original Model 3, all of which is valid, but the major update that came out last year, identifiable by the new headlights and taillights, is genuinely excellent. Seriously, I can't think of any other car, gas or EV, that feels this sophisticated for less than $50K. If you're not into the sedan shape of the Model 3, we're always recommending the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's quiet, comfortable, quick, efficient, and it fuels up super quick when you find yourself at a public fast charger. We love this thing. If you need 3 rows of seats, you're gonna have to spend a little more cash, but thankfully, there's a great option in the Kia EV9. Like I said earlier, we bought one of these maybe 6 months ago, and everyone on staff raves about it. It offers great value for money, and even folks in the 3rd row will have plenty of space. Kia EV9 is great, but if you have some cash to spend and like the idea of silent off-roading, you can't go wrong with the Rivian R1S and R1T. They just introduced the Gen 2 models for 2024, and they're even more refined and better to drive than the early cars. We also think they look pretty cool. Not to mention, all 5 of these can currently, or will soon be able to, use Tesla superchargers, so road tripping and public charging should be super easy. And that's all she wrote. What are we thinking? You guys gonna wait for solid-state batteries? You want EV Jeep with the doors coming off? You're not gonna wait? What are you gonna get right now? There's a lot of good options. We just talked about them all. Let us know. Honestly, we read them. We want to interact with you. Until next time, have a good one.